Hey YouTube, what's going on? Junior here, and I'm back again with another reaction video, back again with another viewer request, and what better way to follow up a pretty successful Tool video from last week with a somewhat obscure band that'll maybe get 100 views. Pretty classic. Episode is always sponsored by RuneGate Studio. The band we're doing today is a little band named Demilich. I've never heard of Demilich before. It drew my attention because it reminded me of D&D stuff. And you know, all you need to do to get my attention is to either grab me with D&D, fantasy, or Lovecraftian horror, some sci-fi, some sort of fictional universe that I can really delve into and not deal with any real-world problems, but instead kind of lose myself in the miasma of untold horrors of people's imaginations and of my own. Much more interesting, much more fun. As recommended by Kerry Kinnunen and Highway Corsair. The song I ended up choosing, the planet that once used to absorb flesh in order to achieve divinity and immortality, suffocated to the flesh that it desired. A really nice track name. And again, I chose it because, according to Highway Corsair, it features intergalactic Lovecraftian horrors, which is one of the things that I love. Who would have thought? Thank you to both of these people for suggesting the band. Looked up the Wikipedia page here, and even according to Kerry Kinnunen, this is a death metal band from the 90s. Specifically, they're from Finland, and their debut album, Nesbith, which is kind of like Mrs. Nesbit from Toy Story, featured intricate death metal riffs with extremely low gurgled vocals in the vocal fry registered. The album contains long, complicated song titles and unconventional lyrics, which were written in code in the booklet. Also, it looks like that this album, Nesbith, is the only studio album that they ever released back in 1993. Very cool, very interesting. I love the history behind the band, and I feel like it's almost got like this really intense cult following that has been following it for the past 26 years. But that's pretty cool. I like it. Anyways, enough jibber jabber. Let's just get right into the song, hey? Here we go. Demilich, the planet that once used to absorb flesh in order to achieve divinity and immortality, suffocated to the flesh that it desired. Okay, alright, so this song is absolutely dirty. This is a filthy sounding song. I believe those vocals would be classified as like the toilet bowl growls. I understand what what he was talking about there before. Unintelligible. It's a tough task for me to follow along these lyrics right now. I have a general idea on where we are, but really who knows? You know, I can understand phrases and snippets here and there, but I find myself kind of losing my spot. But the instrumental, though, the instrumental's really what's stealing the show for me here. Starting off with a pretty classic sounding riff, getting right into some heavy drum patterns, but then they keep switching it up. It's if I didn't know better, I almost want to slap a progressive label on this band just for the instrumental alone. Like, it's so weird and interesting, and I feel like they kind of throw all these odd little bits at you. They stop everything and have a little bass solo for a second there. They have some pretty cool pinch harmonics going in. But yeah, the structure and the instrumentation, a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. going on here? Okay, I know where we are now. Jeez, okay, well, you know, what an experience. So that was, once again, Demilich, the planet that once used to absorb flesh in order to achieve divinity and immortality, suffocated to the flesh that it desired. I was able to pick up my spot in the lyrics at the end a little bit there. Let's read them. Let's read them together. A silent forsaken planet, its pores full of flesh, it once used to be alive. Now dead, condemned to loneliness lying in space, completely alone. Covered with tons and tons of piles of bones, the former master of the universe. And as stars the former master died, its cover full of stars, its core has gotten cool. The greed has shown fatality. No more absorbing, no more consuming, it will never reach immortality. A dark, lonely tale of a hopeful elder god to be, perhaps. It seems like a planet, or some sort of planet-like being. A cosmic, might some say Demilich, floating through the universe, absorbing flesh, absorbing life and living beings into itself in order to fuel its path towards immortality. It seems like the goal of this thing was to reach immortality, and at the height of its powers, it was the master of the universe and the master of the stars. However, it's overwhelming greed. Okay, so maybe it's overwhelming greed has shown fatality. No more absorbing, no more consuming. It will never reach immortality. So perhaps this fuel, or it needed the kind of life in order to fuel its godhood, in order to fuel its immortality and mastery of the universe. However, it got too greedy and started, I guess, over-consuming. Though it was the master of the universe and all of the beings within it, it could have maintained this overlordship of it if it had restrained itself and kind of just like eaten at a very replenishable pace. Instead, however, it went on a rampage and consumed every living thing in the universe, absorbing all of its flesh into itself, becoming this giant mass of bones. And it is now simply drifting through a lifeless, cold universe with just dead stars to witness it. Lifeless and lonely. Yeah, I like that theory. That's interesting. That's kind of cool. Definitely not my type of death metal. Definitely not the first pick I would choose. But hey, that's what this channel's all about. It's introducing me to new things. Like I said, I never would have found this on my own, probably. So it's cool that I now have had the opportunity to experience it. And maybe in the future I can listen to more of it. I can get a better appreciation for it. So I've said this before, but I really like enunciation. However, to contradict what I just said, I also really do appreciate just the utter brutality and gnarliness of the sound that they're putting forth here. And I really like the complexity of the instrumental as well. It's, again, the mixing, as with the times, the 90s, very dirty, very raw and unpolished, but it kind of contributes to that signature sound that I'm discovering lingers within all of 90s death metal. There we go. Juniio once again learning new things and experiencing and gaining a broader appreciation for music as a whole. So yay for me, yay for you guys for suggesting it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure to like it. If you like the channel, make sure to subscribe. Of course, everybody have a great day. I'll see you another day. And yeah, that's about it. Wouldn't you say? I would say. Later.